I have up in line one, producer of ESPN Sports Reporters for about 3 decades, and that's on Sundays on ESPN and ESPN2. He's he's the author of Second to None, The Relentless Drive and Impossible Dream of the Buffalo Bills, and you can get that book on triumphbooks.com. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Joe Valerio. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you doing today?
Doing well. I appreciate your time.
Everybody excited up there? I mean, we're going to, speaking of second to none, we're going to find out how good the Bills are in the first 2 weeks of the season this year, aren't we?
It's pretty wild.
With Indy and New England.
Yeah, that's
Rex must be just on top of the world with that matchup.
It's no AAA schedule the first 2 weeks. It's going into Second to None now. If you could describe the book, where they could get it. Western New York here is very well aware.
Absolutely. The book is available, at Barnes & Noble, barnesandnoble.com, amazon.com, and it's really about, the Buffalo Bills Super Bowl era, their golden years, the 90 to 93 teams that went to 4 straight Super Bowls, something, as we all know, no other team has ever done or approached, really, and it's unlikely that it'll ever be duplicated again. And it's really about the character of those teams, their resilience, their perseverance, and it's a very uplifting story because they were a tremendously talented team that stuck together, played hard, and always fought back from adversity. And it was a pleasure working on it.
Joe Valerio, producer of ESPN, the Sports Reporters, seen Sunday mornings at, I believe, 10 and at 11 on ESPN and ESPN2.
No, we have a telethon now. We start at 9:30 on ESPN.
Nice.
9:30 on ESPN, 10:30 on ESPN2, and then 11:30 and 12:30 on ESPN News.
I'm glad to be have stood corrected here 4 different times. It's Sunday and slash afternoon. I'm glad. You could do the plugging. I'll just do some of the talking here.
No.
Now, one of the chapters, we talked about this previously, a few months ago, here in the Thomas Loop Radio Show on WJJL, was the Jim Kelly home experience, which he, families would go over his home after games, before games, during the week. He would often have drivers, just ensuring safety of his friends and family. Could be after a game, could be. What was that experience like, writing that chapter of the book?
Well, that was really the jump-off part of the book, the starting point of the book, and it's really fascinating that he is a very generous person, and after the home games up in Buffalo, he would invite his teammates, their families, their friends who may have come in to watch the games and see them play, back to his house. He'd have a catered affair. There'd often be close to probably 100 people there. And, they would put on the tape of the game from that afternoon that they just played, and that would be playing on the big screen TV downstairs. And in those days, the big screen TVs, they were almost like a sub-zero refrigerator, if what you will, today. They were, a massive piece of furniture. And they have, guys would be sitting in the front row. Usually Bruce Smith would have a big club chair up front, watching the games and, enjoying, buffalo wings or, burgers, hot dogs, whatever they were serving that day. And there's plenty of food, plenty of refreshments, and if necessary, they would make arrangements for people to get driven home later that night.
You're listening to the Thomas Loop Radio Show here at WJJL 1440 AM, Niagara Falls, Buffalo, New York. I have featured musical guest Zach Ward will be going through his EP, Track for Track. That's what you get, because that's what you get. I like the title. I'll be talking to him afterward. Very talented musician from the Niagara Falls, New York area. On the phones is Joe Valerio, author of Second to None, book on triumphbooks.com, producer of ESPN Sports Reporters, seen 4 times on several different ESPN networks. I'll just go with that for the time being.
Across the platform of ESPN networks.
Yes,
okay?
yes.
and I regret I do not have an EP out yet of Second to None, but it is available on Nook.
That's pretty cool. I like that plug. I'll be sure to send Zach's EP out your way through email. It's really remarkable work. Okay, Joe, going into the last show of the Sports Reporters, each gentleman, lady have a parting comment.
Yeah, parting shots we call them. That's correct.
Yes. One that stood out was reporter Mike Lupica. I like Mr. Ryan's comment too, but the one that stood out was Mike Lupica. Could you tell the audience what that was about?
Well, Mike wrote about the 119th running of the Boston Marathon, the second anniversary following the horrible events of April in 2013, and he spoke to the heart of the matter that people would be there watching the events that had lost a limb, that had lost an eye, that had been severely damaged, and but the resourcefulness of these people and of the city and the country, is that we move forward. And it was a very eloquent parting shot. And I'm sure when they get to the closing statements and the summation in the upcoming trial, where they're considering the death penalty in Boston, I'm sure they are going to be echoing some of Mike's thoughts in their commentary at the end.
It was, just like you said, it was very direct. Many red flag words that aren't normally used in broadcasting were words that were in a positive sense, a positive context. That's what stood out from the rest of them on that particular episode of the Sports Reporters. Joe Valerio's with me live here in the Thomas Loop Radio Show. We'll be podcasting at 1 p.m. this afternoon on blogtalkradio.com. And we're at WJJL, Niagara Falls Studio at the Niagara Arts and Cultural Center, right in the heart of the Talent District.